I think this is my favorite Yeezy drop of this year. What's up everybody, I'm Seth Fowler and today I'm reviewing the upcoming Adidas Yeezy 350 V2 Blue Tint. I really appreciate you guys checking out this video. Make sure to also check me out on social media, on Instagram and on Twitter at RealSethFowler. But with all that being said, let's get into it. I want to give a huge shout out to J&M Sneakers for hooking me up with this pair a little bit early. They also hooked me up with the Beluga 2.0s a little bit early. They're awesome guys based in Queens like myself, so make sure to give them a follow on Instagram. I'll link it in the description below. Also, I want to give another really quick shout out to Edwin, the son of some man. You guys have seen him in my vlogs before. He's the one who hooked me up with J&M Sneakers, so thank you Edwin for that. Make sure to subscribe to his channel in the link in the description below. In the last few months, we've had almost an influx of Yeezy releases. We've had the 700s, we've had the Desert Rats, and of course, a bunch of 350s. And I don't really want to complain because I think Yeezys are great shoes, and I'm glad that they're becoming more widely available for people who want them. But I gotta be honest, it's really hurting my wallet. But jumping right into things with the last 350 dropping this year, the Adidas Yeezy 350 V2 Blue Tint. That's one of those names that never really rolls off the tongue. The shoe itself is very similar to a lot of the 350s that have dropped recently, however there are some color differences which I really like. Starting off with the shoe, you've got your full one-piece prime knit construction. As the name would suggest, the base color of the prime knit is a light blue. As you can tell pretty clearly on the medial side, you still have that zebra print that's on all the other 350s. It is a little bit more subtle than previous models because the color they're using to accent the light blue is a pretty light gray. From a distance around the toe box, it all sort of blends together, but once you get closer to the heel of the shoe, you notice the separation in color. Running along the lateral side, you still have those signature Yeezy stripes. The top stripe is in that light blue base color, and the bottom stripe is actually one of my favorite details on the shoe because they did something a little bit different. Rather than being a plain solid light gray, they added some striations of darker grays and lighter blues. It gives it this very subtle vertical linear pattern, which I actually really like. It just kind of gives the upper a little bit more depth. Of course, you can't forget the SPLY 350 in bright orange. The text is actually mirrored on both shoes, so it's not actually running in the right direction on either shoe. In some of the earlier 350 V2s, one shoe had it the right way around and the other one it was mirrored, but it looks like on the newer versions, they're both reversed. I'm not sure why they did that, but it's there. The orange of the text is very similar to what they use in the Beluga 2.0s. In some lights, it doesn't even really look orange. It looks more red, but when you really look at it in like bright sunlight, you can tell that it's orange. Running down the center of the shoe, you've got the stitching that holds the two sides of the sneaker together. It's stitched in a sort of light gray color, which is similar to some of the stripes, but it's not exactly the same tone of gray. But I mean, let's be honest, it doesn't matter because you can't see it anyway. Continuing up the shoe, you've got your standard 350 V2 laces, this time in a blue tint. Around the ankle of the shoe, you've got one of the most noticeable blue accents on the silhouette, and that's the light blue piping detail running around the top of the prime knit. This is definitely the most saturated blue on the entire shoe, however it's not really that blue. It's definitely darker than the blue you find in the prime knit and on the laces, but I still think it's pretty subtle. Inside the shoe, you've got your standard 350 V2 sock liner in light blue. You can't forget the 3M3 stripes on the inside of the heel. The insole of the shoe is also in a light blue, but it's accented by the orange Adidas and Yeezy text. As for sizing, these fit just like the other 350 V2s that have dropped recently, however they do fit a little bit more snug than the zebras and some of the earlier 350 V2 releases, and that's more around the toe, and I didn't really notice it until I wore the Beluga 2.0s for about a week straight, and to be honest, my toes got a little bit crunched around the front of the shoe, but when I took out the insole, the problem was solved. Even then, the fit really wasn't bad, and I'd still probably suggest going true to size. If you don't like the way the shoe fits, you always have the option to pull out the insole, and if you really want to go up half a size, you can do that. Moving around to the back of the shoe, you've got your pull tab in, of course, light blue. The pull tab is again accented in that dark orange dot stitching. I'm glad that they also went with orange on the stitching because if they just had the orange on the SPLY 350, I feel like that would be a little bit too much. But that little hint of orange in the back kind of balances everything out. Moving down the shoe, you've got that classic 350 V2 ribbed midsole. The majority of the midsole is covered in the semi-translucent light blue. On all the semi-translucent midsoles, you can actually see through to where the prime knit ends on the sneaker and where the boost begins. It's kind of a darker area around the top of the midsole. As with the other 350 V2s, you still have that eyesore of a back panel, which I just don't get. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, the outsole of the shoe is a more yellowy shade of blue and it actually wraps up onto the heel of the sneaker. It really honestly looks like a mistake or that it yellowed over time or something that just isn't good. And they've done it on every single 350 V2 and it's really bothered me, especially on the zebras, because on the zebras, it's very, very yellow. I mean, these could be worse, but it's definitely noticeable. I just don't get it. Why couldn't they have connected the midsole in a different way or even made the outsole the same color as the midsole? It just doesn't make sense to me. Finally, moving to the bottom of the shoe, you've got that yellow tinted bluish outsole that I just mentioned. It's still technically a shade of blue, but when you compare it to the midsole, it's definitely got a yellow tint to it, which is kind of funny because these are the blue tints and it's got a yellow tint. On the forefoot, the rubber creates a lattice texture that allows you to see through to the boost, and you've also got a pretty large boost window on the midfoot. Overall, to be honest, I was kind of getting burnt out on Yeezy 350 V2s, and seeing this pair online, I wasn't too excited, but now seeing them in hand, I really love that blue color and how subtle they are. I'm warming up to the hit of orange. It wouldn't have been my first choice, but I definitely don't mind it. And I mean, 350 V2s are all around pretty comfortable and pretty good looking sneakers, so you really can't go wrong. If you're trying to grab a pair of the 350 V2 blue tints for yourself, they drop on Saturday, December 16th, and they are one of the more common 350s dropping. Maybe not as as common as the Beluga 2.0s, but still not that hard to grab. Now that we've got the review out of the way, let's throw these guys on feet and see how they look. Make sure to leave a comment in the comment section down below letting me know what you think of the 350 V2 blue tints and what your favorite V2 is. Thanks again to J&M Sneakers and Edwin, the son of some man. Make sure to check them out in the links in the description below. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to me, Seth Fowler, if you want to see more content just like this, and follow me on all other forms of social media. The links will be in the description below.